So in the last video, we have seen about the word shaft. So that is the words, some of the German verbs that we should know, and we have seen some practical examples from the supermarket. So and also from the Studio 1, that is textbook, German language textbook. So today we are going to see about the verbs, the concept of verbs. So it's day four, and we will see the concept of verbs. So verbs are action words. So these verbs, they are action words. So in English, for example, if I have to say laughing or laugh, so laugh is an action. It's a verb. Laugh. There is some action here. I'm laughing. So teach, okay, read, write, run. So these are all action words. The same thing also applies in German language. That is, we have action words. Most of the verbs are of accusative type, but we will see we can categorize this. But in English, we don't have any categories. But in German, we have categories among the verbs, and this will definitely impact on how you make the sentences. If you make a wrong choice, or if you have a wrong idea about the verb, then you will make a mistake in the sentence. So we will see how. For example, first of all, I would say the verb category which is called as nominative. Nominative. So nominative, you can just imagine this as like a subject. Mostly we call nominative as the first position in a sentence, but in this case, we just have to remember this like a subject or nominative. Okay. Then we have accusative. This is another category, accusative. Then we have dative. This is third category. Okay. Then we have modal verbs. This is the fourth category. And fifth category is irregular verbs. So these are like five categories. Okay. Out of which I will tell you some tricks to remember them, and then after that you can easily remember them. Not that complicated as we think, but yeah. So let's first start with the nominative verbs. There are four nominative verbs. Okay, the first four nominative verbs, I would write it here. The first verb is sein. Okay, sein is like to be, sein. Then comes werden. Werden is like to become something. I want to become a pilot. I want to become a teacher. To become something. Heißen. As you see, this is set. If you have followed our tutorials from the class one, it's pronounced as double S. Heißen. It's like to be called as, or to be called. We say ich heiße your name, for example. Ich heiße Kazi. Ich heiße Matthias. Ich heiße something. Your name, your surname, or whatever. It's called as heiße. So then comes bleiben, to stay, to stay. So sein, werden, heizen, und bleiben. Okay. So these are the four nominative verbs you need to remember. So whenever you use this verb, then you have to imagine that it's of category nominative. Let's come to the dative. So we have some of the verbs that are called as dative. And for that, I want you to remember a formula here. Def, ge, hai pass. It's double P A N S. Def ke ha pass. Okay. Def ke ha pass. What does def ke ha pass means? So I will write it here. Duncan is like to thank. Duncan is to thank Duncan. Then comes esgate. Esgate is like we mostly use it to answer something, to ask. Like how are you? Someone if someone asks you, we get S dear, we get S or we escates. Like how are you? To ask something like how are you? How are you? Or when I say what's up? What's up? What's up? Then we have folgen. Folgen is to follow. Okay. Then we have gefallen. Gefallen is liked. Okay. Gehoren. Gehoren with umlaut. Okay. Gehoren is like um, belongs to. It belongs to me. You know. Es gehört mich. It it belongs to me. Es gehört mir. We say. Okay. Then we have gefallen, gehoren, gratulieren. Gratulieren is to thank. Okay. To thank. Then comes uh, this is helfen. Helfen is to help someone. Helfen. Then we have something called as passen. Passen is to fit, you know, to fit. Then we have passieren. Passieren is it's like some asking someone what's passiert, what's happening to happen. Someone asks what's passiert, what's happening. Then antworten. Antworten is to answer. To answer. Then we have schmecken. Schmecken is to taste. Okay. We have more dative verbs, but we will see in our later classes when you are prepared for B1 or B2 or a higher level of German, then you will learn some of them. But for A1 or A2, these are enough. So you just need to remember these with their meaning. So you should know them. Okay. Then what I do is I will skip this modal verb for now because it I think it could be too much for you if I teach modal verbs and everything. We will see it soon. I will teach you irregular verbs, okay? And we will see irregular verbs in detail, but for now, just to list them, I will write them as irregular verbs. There are a lot, but I will write a few of them because if I keep writing irregular verbs, then it's gonna be a very complicated. Like you might get scared, like oh, there's so many verbs. But over a period of time, you will definitely learn this. Okay. So irregular verbs are, for example, um, we write like geben, for example. Geben is like to give, something, to give. Geben. Essen is like to eat. No, it's food. Or maybe sometimes, yeah, you can use it like sometimes to eat, or maybe sometimes to eat, or it could also be food. Okay. By the way, it could be confusing sometimes, but yeah, we have to interchangeably use them. There is also a city called as Helfen in Germany. Sorry, there is also a city called as Essen in Germany, and that is don't mean that it means to eat or food, but it's Essen is like it's a city name of the city, so it's like Duisburg Essen. It's called as like name of the city. Okay, so we have to be very careful when using words. Okay, so Geben, Essen. Okay, then we have Arbeiten. Arbeiten is like to work. Arbeiten. Finden. Finden is like to find something. To find something. Okay. Then we have helfen. Helfen. It's a dative verb. Okay. So actually, if you look at the categories, yes, there are only four categories, which is including modal verbs, for example. There are only four categories. However, the fifth is, I would say, it's like a special category. Irregular verbs are special category because these verbs here, what you see, this can be, some of them can be from accusative and some of them can be from dative. Okay, so why do we when we already have them here, then why do we categorize them specially again? Because these are the verbs whose form slightly changes when we use it. Okay, these are, that's why they have the German the people in Germany, they have made it like special verbs, irregular verbs, and we will see them how they actually differ when we use them. Because some of you might get confused. Like here we have helfen as a dative verb, and then we have also written helfen as an irregular verb. Yeah, it is possible that because it's not a main category, but we call it as a special status or special category. Okay, helfen is like to help, to help. Then we have sprechen. Sprechen. Sprechen is like to speak. Okay. And then we have sterben. Sterben is like to die, or yeah, someone dies. Sterb. We have treffen is like to meet. Treffen is like to meet. Werfen. Werfen is like to throw. To throw a stone, for example. Werfer. To throw a paper, piece of paper. Then we have lesen is like to read. Then we have sehen, that is to see. Okay. There are more, but for now it's okay. Yeah. So one thing you have to keep in mind is that we have four categories of verbs. First is nominative verbs, which are these fix, these four, A, B, C, D. Then we have these 10 verbs. At the moment we have more, but for now, let's say we have 10 of them, and that these are all dative verbs. And then we have rest of these verbs, whatever you have in German, they are all are accusative, rest of them. So, so out of these, like 10 plus 4, 14 verbs, except these 14, for now we have to think like rest of the verbs, they are all are accusative verbs. So now the question arises, what is this special verbs, regular verbs? As I said, this irregular verbs, these can be, some of them can be from nominative, some of them can be accusative, some of them can be from dative. So they are like handpicked verbs. These are all the handpicked verbs from the previous three categories, and they have made a special category. And as you can see, arbeiten, for example, this is accusative. Arbeiten is accusative, but we haven't mentioned here accusative because then the list will be never ending because they have so many verbs, right? Maybe hundreds and thousands of verbs that come under accusative. So I can't list them all. And second thing is some of them could be dative. For example, here helfen. So helfen is dative, but it's an irregular verb. So its form changes when we use it. So you just have to understand that. Since I have a couple of minutes more for this video to end, so I will also write maybe the modal verbs, the second special verb I would say. modal verbs, or the fourth category of word. Actually, it's the fourth category of word, but yeah, it's called as modal verbs. So these modal verbs, we have seven modal verbs. So the first one is möchten. The first verb is möchten. Möchten is like um, would like to, Möchten is like I would like uh, to take permission, for example, something like that. I would like to have. This is möchten. Then we have mögen. Mögen is to like, like. Then then we have möchten, mögen, müssen. Müssen is like must. It's like must. Ich muss. I must. Okay. Then we have dürfen. Dürfen is to allow, or being allowed. Being allowed. That's called as dürfen. Number five, um, we have wurden, or we can also call this as werden. But yeah, we can also. But there's one more called können. Können is like could. It's for can, or sometimes also used for could. Could. Möchten, mögen, müssen, dürfen, können. Then we have sollen. Sollen is like should. I should eat my lunch, or I should eat my breakfast, for example. And the last one is wollen. Wollen is like want to, It's like more desperate. I want to pass this exam. You know. So this is how these are all the we call them as the special verbs, also called as modal verbs. So I hope this with this video it's pretty clear. So we have to remember these four as a nominative, these 10 as dative, and rest all are accusative. And out of this dative, accusative, and nominative, we have handpicked few of them, and we call them as irregular verbs. We will see them maybe after 3 to 4 classes how to use them, or even more classes. It depends uh, how many sentences I make with these sentences, and how many videos I make from other concepts. But we will see it maybe after 10 classes. Okay, but for now you just need to make sure that we have irregular verbs. And we also have some modal verbs. We will see this after a couple of classes. Then why do we need these modal verbs, and how do we use them, etc. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit a like and subscribe button to not miss any upcoming videos, or get the latest video, get the notification. Because German, you have to be regular with the German language, or any language. Okay. So I hope you liked the video. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.